Dalvin Cook is likely to be cut. Could Howie Roseman be ready to pounce? Dallas still stinks. You might do it, King Dingbat here. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. This is going to be a very interesting video. I cannot wait to read the comments and see what you guys think out there, because it looks like Dalvin Cook is about to get cut. It's a matter of time. It looks like it's going to happen. And you know Howie Roseman has to be looking at Dalvin Cook going, he could drastically help this team right away. Should the Eagles go after Dalvin Cook if and when he gets cut? We're going to talk about it in a second. But before we do that, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, the most throttled, Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to thank you guys so much for the support you give to me. It has been like really crazy and gagoots on YouTube lately. So please double check, double boo check. Make sure that you're still subscribed and everything's okay. We've had a lot of sacrificing of chickens by Cowboy fans lately, especially Mark Holmes. So there's a lot of different curses going on Eagles content creators. So we gotta be careful, okay? Now, we got a lot to talk about in this video. We could have made 2 or 3 videos with all the stuff going on, but we're gonna try to, sum it up real quick, because Philly 500's gotta go make babies, matrimonial booties, calls. All right, but first thing I want to talk about, Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter, I believe, is the apple of the Eagles' eye at 10. I think that's where they would like to go. I think that's who they would like to draft. But you got to wonder if Jalen Carter's going to make it to 10. Adam Schefter is saying this: Georgia defensive tackle Jalen Carter is visiting the Detroit Lions on Monday. Now, that's important because Jalen Carter, it was reported earlier in the offseason that the Lions and the Raiders, and I believe the Cardinals, had him off their draft board completely. This obviously is not true, and it's a big deal. Now, I still think the Lions are going corner with their first pick, but Jalen Carter is visiting the Lions on Monday. That means he would have visited the Seahawks at 5, the Lions at 6, the Raiders at 7, the Bears at 9, and the Eagles at 10. Now, I've also seen a few things where they've talked about different trade scenarios and the possibility that a team like the New York Jets are going to actually try to jump the Eagles if Jalen Carter gets to 8 or 9. This is all speculation. Of course, we don't really know. What do we know? But it looks like that could be a possibility. Jalen Carter, if he could somehow land to the Eagles, would be an absolute steal for us. It would be absolutely. And Jake's at Birds Country said this. He quoted Adam Schefter, who said this: when you talk to people around that Georgia program, they say one guy that kept Jalen Carter in line was Jordan Davis. And when he was around Jordan Davis, he was on some of his best behavior. So Jordan Davis obviously had a lot of influence over Jalen Carter. And that could be a huge factor, a huge reason why the Eagles would want to sit there and possibly entertain Jalen Carter, where a lot of people are worried about his off-the-field stuff. I trust the Eagles either way. If Howie feels comfortable enough, if he feels confident enough that they've done their homework on his off-the-field stuff and they feel okay with it, I trust them. The Eagles are usually pretty good with that when it comes to character guys. We're not the Cowboys. It's not like we have to hold our breath starting in June. Like right after their last minicamp, when you get that lull between like the last minicamp and then training camp, like preseason, Cowboys, that's when Cowboy fans are the most scared, because that's when they always get arrested. They always get arrested, DWI, DUI, beaten the hell out of a dog, whatever they do, cocaine noses, whatever those Cowboys do, they do it between like the last mini camp to like right before preseason. So that's when they have, Eagles don't have that problem, okay? So, it is what it is. But We'll see with Jalen Carter. It's looking like it's becoming a less of a chance every day that he's going to even be there at 10. Another rumor we have going on, and I talked about this yesterday, Budda Baker. I had a request from people to talk about Budda Baker, and I already told you that there was people putting the Eagles as, a possible top landing spot for Budda Baker. I don't know how real that is, but the rumors and connections between Budda Baker and the Eagles continue to grow. JPA Football put this up. Rumors. The Pound Eagles, not hashtag, are viewed as a potential destination for Pound Cardinal star safety Budda Baker per Jay Fowler, ESPN. Quote, people I've talked to around the league are at least looking to Philadelphia because they have a need at safety with C.J. Gardner-Johnson leaving in free agency. Now, that's very, very interesting and very possible. There's no question about it. But, the thing is, and this is my thing, I think Budda Baker wants to be highest paid safety in football. He's not going to come to Philly. I don't think the Eagles will do it. And I'll go back to this. The Eagles have spent all their resources, except for a running back. I don't count Mariota because he's a backup quarterback. But they have spent all their resources on defense. On defense. When do they spend their resources on offense? What resources are they going to use towards offense? That's the question I have. I mean, if we think about what Jeffrey Lurie said, he said it himself, "Stop that, you stupid cat." But, Jeffrey Lurie spoke about the offense and how much the offense and how important it is to this team. So this is what Jeffrey Lurie said earlier this offseason, if you guys remember. He said, quote, offenses dominate in this league, and that's why we've always focused more resource allocation on making sure we have an outstanding offense, because it's very hard to stop. I'll add Jalen to the list. The Jalen Hurts, the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens, the Joe Burrows, the young guns and the old guns, Aaron Rodgers, and all of that group. It's impossible given the rules of this league. So what Jeffrey Lurie is saying is you got to make sure that your offense is always your bread and butter. And that's how the Eagles view it. Well, if that's the case, and I know they spent a lot of money already offensively, but they haven't really done any work on the offensive side of the ball yet. However, I think that's all going to change during this draft. I really do. And not just necessarily with who they draft, but, free agents, people are going to become available. And one name, we got to talk about is Dalvin Cook. It looks like Dalvin Cook is on his way to getting cut in Minnesota. Pro Football Talk wrote this: Dalvin Cook's $10.4 million salary continues to be an issue for the Vikings, with a trade or a release still on the table. Now, good luck in actually trading him. When teams know that you're going to have to cut a player because of salary cap and things like that, teams are not going to go and trade and give you a lot for them. It's just not going to happen. So the most likely scenario for Dalvin Cook is he is going to probably be cut. And when he's cut, he'll become a free agent, being able to sign with pretty much, any team he wants, So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Now, if you look at Dalvin Cook's numbers last year, he had 264 attempts, 1,173 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4.4 yards a carry. He's only 27 years old, and Dalvin Cook is one of the best running backs in this league. That's who I wanted in the first round pick, the 2017, the year he came out, loved Dalvin Cook. We could have even had him, if you guys remember, a couple spots if we would have traded up in the second round. But Minnesota wound up getting him. He's a fantastic running back, and he would be an absolute fantastic fit for the Philadelphia Eagles. The positives of getting a Dalvin Cook is, to me, it does the similar thing to what you get with Bijan Robinson. You get a guy who comes in right away and helps your team, makes your offense that much better. Do you realize how scary the Eagles' offense would be with a Dalvin Cook, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. It's a scary proposition. And Jalen Hurts is your quarterback who can run. So Dalvin Cook, from the standpoint of a talented player coming in next year and helping the Eagles and being a huge upgrade at the running back position, it absolutely would, in my opinion, make the Eagles, it propel the Eagles back into the Super Bowl. I really think a good running back at this point will propel the Eagles back in the Super Bowl. And the reason I say that is because it makes your offense even that better, even better than last year, even more dynamic than last year. Dalvin Cook would be a great player to bring in. Would I be upset that they brought in Dalvin Cook? No, how could I be? No, I don't think anybody would be, any Eagle fan. It would be a huge move. Obviously, you're not going to trade for him. You're not going to pick up his contract. But when he gets cut, then you're open to negotiate. So it would be very interesting. Now, the downside and the thing that I don't understand and what I don't get personally is, why would you go out and spend more money on Dalvin Cook when you can draft a running back? You see what I'm saying? Like, to me, yes, the running back is definitely an area of need. But a lot of people who are talking about you never draft a running back in the first round, don't get a running back in the first round, would love to run and sign Dalvin Cook and give him a ton of money. It's going to cost you a lot more money to sign Dalvin Cook than to go ahead and draft Bijan Robinson or Jamar Gibbs. So to me, I personally, although I love Dalvin Cook and would not be upset if he came, and if this was post-draft and once the draft takes place, he's still a free agent, and if we didn't upgrade our running back spot, at that point, I'm all for it. But leading up into this draft, I am not signing Dalvin Cook until I figure out what I do with one of these running backs, Gibbs or Bijan Robinson. And this is like, I got to show you Howard Eskin, right? Howard Eskin, he could be a little dingbatish, okay, at times. But I don't understand this line of thinking, okay? He says this: there's another running back that is likely to be available for the Pound Eagles, so maybe people at Sports Radio WIP can stop with the nonsense that Bird should take a running back, Bijan Robinson, with the 10th pick in the draft. Per ESPN, Pound Vikings will likely cut running back Dalvin Cook. He would be perfect for the Eagles. Now, I don't know why we always go back to the 10th pick, and I haven't listened to WIP, so I don't know what they've said. But I don't understand this line of thinking when you talk about going out and signing Dalvin Cook and bringing in Dalvin Cook, who's going to cost you a lot more money when you have an extension with Jalen Hurts coming about. How are you going to sign Dalvin Cook to multiple years? And you're going to be paying him more money than you would pay Jamar Gibbs or Bijan Robinson. I would prefer, in my opinion, to draft the running back. I'd rather have Bijan Robinson, get him early, get Jamar Gibbs if Bijan, I can't get him, and get one of those young guys and have them there for 5 years, not paying them a lot of money. Instead of a guy who's 27 years old, has a lot more wear and tear on him, and, might give you a couple good years, but I'm going to have to pay a lot more money. I prefer to go the draft route, in my opinion. But if the draft comes and goes and there is no Bijan Robinson on the Eagles, there is no Jamar Gibbs on the Eagles, then yes, then you have to look at the free agency, and you have to look at Dalvin Cook if he's still available, and you got to pull the trigger then. He would be my third option, not my first. That's what I'm trying to say. I still think the move is to draft a running back. The one thing I do say is this: I believe that Jeffrey Lurie, when he made that statement about offense, I believe it's true, and I believe it holds true, and I believe we have yet to see the Eagles take care of the offensive side of the ball, and I do believe that's coming during the draft. Where and when and who, that's the question that we're going to have to see how that gets answered. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. I don't get it. I got to complain. I got to say something. I got to get off my chest. Why you go out with to dinner with like people like at a Chinese food restaurant, let's say, and you're out there and you order your food and it's coming and you think you're going to eat what you ordered, and then it's like, oh, can I have a little bit of yours? And then they want a little bit of yours, and they're like, oh, here, have a little bit of mine. Hey, we can all share. Let's share our Chinese food, and we can all each have a little bit of each other's. I don't want your food. I don't want your food. I don't want that. If I wanted that, I would have ordered it. I want this mother humping food right here, and you're taking it out of my mouth. I don't share my Chinese food. I order what I want to eat, and I don't want to eat what you're trying to share. Denzel Washington out.